What is up, Team Happy and Fit? I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Erica's so awesome. Here's the deal. I think with Happy and Fit, my biggest thing, and I know I'm not the only one, is that I honestly want people to deepen their friendships and relationships. I want you to create, I don't know if balance exists in life just because it's life, but I want you to create an environment of which you live that you're proud of and that you feel your best, or that you tackle the hard instead of run away from it. And so with this journey of coaching, and it's people always say it seems so good to be true, too good to be true. I was like, I know. And I think what's really cool about Team Happy and Fit, if you're a new coach, welcome. If you're checking out our team, welcome. I think it's just knowing that we just want to work on every role in life. And so I had been thinking about this, and I'm so proud of Erica, and I'm not even having you talk first, by the way, but I'm still going to keep going with what I'm going with right here. But I'm so proud of you because you're going to tell your story, and I think it's so inspiring, and it was brewing in me. And Maddie had asked a question on the team page about tips on how to pay down debt, and it kept just like brewing in me a little bit, because I really do believe no matter what kind of coach you are, if you are here to get the discount and work on yourself, awesome. And if you see more potential in this, and I feel like I have to talk more of the potential with it, because I really do think it's the bridge to financial freedom, but also I think this journey helps the whole person. I really do. And so the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, we've got to start talking more about these types of things, because I can't imagine what financial burden, what that would do for you if you could just get rid of that or see hope through that, if that makes sense. And so the more I thought about it, I was like, I've got to ask Erica to do this. And I'm really excited about that. So real fast, Kim Meyer and I get to go represent our team in Vegas. And Trina will be there, and a couple other people from Team Rockstar Fit. It's a very small gathering of incredible leaders that I definitely admire. And we both were elite. Our teams were elite last year. And so leadership is for 5-star and above. It's not just elite. But the cool thing about elite is you actually get to go a day earlier. And so tomorrow night, they're going to take us to a show and all these things. But then the next day, we have an elite mastermind, which I can't wait to share with all of you. Then everyone else arrives. That is 5-star and above. And then we're going to have 2 days of leadership. Last year, Mel Robbins came. It was really incredible to hear her speak live. And it's probably maybe like 500 people, maybe less. We get a workout. Chris Downing is going to be there. I bet he'll do some of his new workouts. And then Autumn will be there as well. And I just have to say, what I really love about coaching is that the growing doesn't stop. The growing doesn't stop, and what you get access to, the more you get into this, and the more you see what this can do for you, the more growth there is, which is really cool. And I don't want to discount that, and I don't want you guys to miss out on that. And so I know I don't always talk about it, but I'm really honored to go. This is my second year and Kim's first year, so we're excited to come back and share with you. Last year, leadership was the reason I was like, we're hitting elite again. And it really like completely lit a fire in me. And I have to say, I feel like the momentum on Happy and Fit right now is absolutely incredible. I love the direction it's going in. I love all the collaboration, the friendships that are being made, and just people believing in themselves. I just listened to Brooke Castillo's podcast today, and she said, what if we just had unshakable belief in what we could do? What if we could just believe that we can, and then we will, and then we'll figure out the how later. Sometimes we struggle with the fraud thing of, oh, I should be farther along, or when I'm farther along, or, you know, when I have a better before and after, when I complete a program, when life settles down. Like, we try to create these ways to not go for it. And I have to give a shout out to Lauren and Liz. Man, you guys have been throwing some in. Morgan Schaefer, I'm just trying to think of a few that I've seen you in your team pages. I love that you add me in there. And I see you going for goals. And I think that's so vital for everyone to see and notice, because I would never want you guys to think that I'm still not going for it either, where I have goals and I rise up and I keep going, but there's just so much room for whatever it is that you want. And so my biggest thing is, where do you start? If you are new, where do you start? You just start, right? You create a challenge group, you team up with another coach, you go through a coach training, you just start, and the most incredible things are going to happen. So I'm going to give it to Maddie. Maddie ended the month at SC18, and I told her to send me her paycheck numbers. Don't send me your paycheck, but send me your paycheck numbers for last month, because that's pretty awesome and a lot of impact. Kristen McNeese also, I believe, hit SC16, if I'm not mistaken, and then SC4 in her husband's account. So that was like SC20, which is really cool. That might be wrong. So Maddie, I would just love to hear some of your best practices when it came to last month, and just sharing that with all of us. I'm sure everyone wants to know.
Yeah, hi. So I have been really, since the summer, my drive increased an extra half hour to and from work. So PD has been my biggest thing, and listening then to not only personal development podcasts and different things like that, but actually other coaches teaching things on YouTube and on their podcasts and stuff. And so just trying to take their best practices and using those to help me. And so it was really, I was kind of balancing between Facebook and Instagram and getting mixed reactions, trying to figure out where my tribe was, who the people I wanted to work out were. And I decided that Instagram's going to be my main hub, and I'm going to put 98% of my effort into Instagram, and my following is strong. Whenever I post a poll, there's usually somebody that, there's a few that go, nobody votes, that's fine. Then I drop it, then I take note, and I don't post about that again. Or the right person didn't watch that day, and that's cool. If I think it helps me, then I'll post that again. But I just really am focusing on making the connections with people that I know. So last month, 3 of the people I added were 3 of my bridesmaids in my wedding next month. And Matt joined as a coach, and so we're getting married next July, and so he joined, and he did his first Lift 4 workout today, so that was pretty cool. I got rid of completely judging anybody that I knew from high school, because I felt like I didn't want to be that person from high school messaging people. And all of a sudden, all these people from high school realize I'm back in Racine, and that I am doing something with my life besides trying to be stuck here, because that is a huge thing that people think about this place, is that once you come back, you're stuck and you're never leaving. And if I do stay here, if we stay here forever, I wouldn't be mad about it right now. Like, potentially we want to be somewhere else physically that has warmer days than colder, but that's besides the point. So that's just a thing. And so I am just dropping that, because I realized I'm not the same person I was 6 years ago. I don't want to judge people on what they were 6 years ago. So I'm getting over myself, and I'm moving on with that. The weirdest one, and I dropped it last night, and I'm dropping the weirdest, but it is weird, I'm not gonna lie. I signed up my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. She messaged me, and it's a weird little circle, but we moved on. We're cool. We realized that we are pretty similar, and that we're gonna vibe, and it's gonna be a good time. She's already posted in our last 90 group a couple times, and it's awesome. For my Instagram stories, we'll go back to that. Anytime anybody bought a challenge pack, I welcome them with the same little circle template in the lower right. I posted 9 different faces on my story of people that my followers can relate to. And so all it was welcome Brianna, and then my graphics that I made personally on my Canva app. And then it was like a before, what would 90 days kind of thing do for you? Welcome Brianna, she's ready to get started, and then a poll at the end. It was either 2 or 3 graphics or a video in between, And then, so 5 stories was about that part. And then I was making sure I was posting 5 other times on my story so that people are seeing throughout my day what's going on, what am I doing. I'm posting life first. So first thing in the morning, I usually post a quote. Today I didn't, so don't go look at my stories. But I usually post a quote of some sort, or a selfie, or something that I'm listening to in my podcast on my way to work. I like to do a poll just about every day. I like to integrate something about food. If it's healthy or not, I'm posting about it, keeping myself accountable on that. Posting something about the dog, something about Matt, something about all the laundry on my chair. Everyone's got that chair, things like that. And I think that people just realize my excitement towards this and how I really want to put my all into this 90 days. It doesn't matter about the mac and cheese that I just ate because that was really good and I documented it. But I just really pushed this group more than anyone I've ever pushed. I remember Julianne posted 10 days in a row about she wants to help 10 people lose 10 pounds. And so that's what I just did. I did that for 10 days straight, and I helped 9 people in, I think it was 10 days is what the span was. And so that was, yes, it was overwhelming, and I was putting in more time every week. But I've done all my mentoring calls with them, my Get It Started Right calls. It's taking time away from other things, but that's what I'm getting paid to do, is to mentor now. This is when my job starts. My job kicked off, or my group kicked off awesomely. And what started all of this was our team call. I was at SC6 already, but I said, I want to hit SC10. How do I do that? And so I looked in the Team Happy&Fit resources, there's a resource PDF in there, how to hit SC10, did it. And just, it's doing what other people are doing it my way, and it made it work.
How did you feel about, like, this is what we need to connect the dots with, is you care so much about the people that you're helping. Like, did any of you guys catch that she made graphics for them, she had calls with them, and she was really intentional with them? But like I've said this before, you walk into Target, people don't care about your physical fitness. You walk into Target, they don't care about where your nutrition is. You walk into Target, they don't care that you're feeling filled up on life. Like, they just want you to buy their stuff and then be gone, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of businesses that are trying to make the whole person like thrive, right? Like, is that not true? Like, I love getting my hair done, but they're not trying to breathe all this belief into me of like going and doing all these crazy things. And so you're doing that, but then you're making an income. Because I think, I always say this, I think Happy&Fit struggles the most with coaching sometimes because so many of us are Christians and we have this like Christian guilt that, like, I've had this with Erica. I'd be like, girl, like, you would never go to your doctor saying you can't get paid. Like, you shouldn't get paid because you should just want to help my kid. Where it's like we struggle with that. But Maddie, like, how did it feel pouring all of that belief and time? Did you hear that? Time. She put extra time into this. She's maximizing her success and minimizing her time, even though she put more time into it. But the time she was putting into it, she was being intentional, right? How did that feel? Like, getting you're probably your highest month ever. What did that feel like? Yeah. What kind of freedom is that bringing to you? What kind of hope is that bringing to you? Like, what do you see in your future now?
No, it feels awesome, like, knowing that I completely 100% earned it. Other times when people start with a challenge pack and you get like the $30-something, that's nice. That pays for my gas or my groceries and something, and that's really nice. And I put that effort, same amount, into that person. But this one, like, just is overwhelming to be honest. Like, I'm thinking about all these things, like, for my paycheck on Thursday that I can do. I'm going to put half of it towards my credit card and then half of it, his birthday's coming up. And so it's like, that's something I don't have to pay for already. That, like, I mean, I was going to pay for it anyways, but now it can be something a little bit more special, I think. And so that's just more something, like, I'm a gifter. That's one of my love languages. And so that just helps me in different ways, if that makes sense, towards that. So
Maddie, How long have you been coaching?
This is my 12th month.
Okay.
So I got the email today that my subscription is renewed on 10/15.
Dude, that reminds me of Kim Meyer. Like, she was a coach. She was a coach for 6 months. I think you guys know how I am with numbers. And was a discount coach for a while, or just like didn't do it. And then she made a decision to hit Success Club 10. It was Team Cup month, and she never, like, she just like kept going after that. And so I just want to, like, Liz, what do you have to say about this? A coach that's on your team that is one of yours that has been doing this for 12 months, just had her best month 12 months in. Like, that's awesome. How does that feel?
I'm just amazed by this girl. So Maddie comes to me almost like a year ago, and she's like trying to start as a customer, and and then she joins for the discount, and now she is transforming lives. That is the most amazing. That's why we're in this. It's just, she's talking about her passion and how she loves other people, and it's so evident. I know everybody on this call who knows you, Maddie, just sees that beaming from you. And it feels so good. It feels so good because Maddie did that. You know, it's like, this is a team effort, and I love her and I support her, but that was her choice. And so every single one of us has the choice every single day to wake up and decide to go for it. And with my coaches, I love them, and I'm always telling them that I believe in them, but I am never going to hold hands, and I'm never going to do the work for them. And this just shows that with Maddie, she knows that, and she's like my sister, and I support her so much. And whenever anybody's ready to do it, they're going to go do it. And she just freaking went and did it. And she just inspires me, and she makes me want to be better. And yeah, I'm just really proud of her. And I'm really, really proud to see how she's brought along her significant other and how they're doing this as a team, and being able to see how this is going to transform their relationship, their future with each other. And they have a business now that they can run that's theirs, that nobody can take from them. And I just pray that that fire stays lit, and she just keeps going for it, because she's amazing. And I'm so proud of you, Maddie.
Real fast, this is all like not planned, by the way. How did you two get on board? First of all, I think every spouse needs to join if you're wanting to do more in the business. If you are not wanting to do more in the business, it's fine. But like, I cannot express to you, you just have to trust me when I say that. I didn't understand. I just trusted my mentors. But now knowing, Eric and I have 3 streams of income coming into our household because we have 3 business centers. And so that would be 2 business centers for you, having your spouse and then having you, right? So if you're wanting to do more, I'm just telling you, it's so important. You just have to trust me on that. But how did you two get on board? Like, Matt, were you guys can answer this any way you want. Like, Eric thought it was sketchy at first, and then it took him some time. Like, where were you with that? How did you guys get on board? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people on here who are like, my spouse, doesn't really get it, or like, what would be your piece of advice for all of them?
Definitely. Well, I think we come from 2 different perspectives. So I'm going to let her share a little bit, and then I'll supplement if it's different than mine.
Yeah. I didn't have the intention of going past a discount coach until I went to my first live event, which was Super Saturday. In January. So I became a coach in October, and then I met a bunch of people from Resilience Free in Madison in January, and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Yeah, Caitlin, a car ride, it was really cool. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to this. And so some people messaged me and was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, this looks fun. And so I signed a couple people up, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. To be mindset, Matt injured himself in February, and so we were working out a lot together, and so we just lived 45 minutes away, so it wasn't like a together kind of thing all the time. And then I signed him up for To Be Mindset because he was injured, and I wanted that, and I wanted it for him, but I wanted it, and so did that. He did some videos, didn't do too much. Injury, still injured, having surgery in the next month. And so earlier in September, I was planning on setting one of my best friends was going to sign up as a coach. And I said, are you going to sign up before her?
Yeah.
And so then he signed up.
Yeah. Okay. My
And
turn.
so that's my side.
So she brings her perspective, and it's all focused on me. So, geez, throwing pens. No more notes for her. So from my perspective, just seeing her sign up originally is just somebody that's trying to make some moves in her life and get a little fit and healthy. I've always been eating healthy for the most part, but I've been like not a crash dieter, but
a little bit.
A crash dieter.
A little. You were a yo-yo.
A yo-yo.
You were a yo-yo.
Gain 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds,
Yeah.
and I thought that was okay. And that's where that 2B mindset, big difference maker. Just thinking about how I could keep myself healthy for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But to go back, just seeing her progress from that to, okay, now I'm going to actually get this paid for. And then I'm like, okay, so she's got this tribe of people. That's really good for her. Personal development, because I love personal development. Like, that's what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the opportunity to just take in all that knowledge from like a mentor or a book and get like the ability to pour that into other people. Like, that's where my heart is. And so when I saw her do that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this team, it's amazing, because you just see like the life that's just pouring, like you guys saw earlier, her just pour that into you. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then it progressed, and she just kept going and plugging into like the mentorship. And once you like lock arms with your mentor, like she's been doing with Liz and Julianne, it's just growing exponentially. Because as a person, you only can do so much by yourself. And when she locked arms with them and started running a little bit and literally sprinting.
We went to Door County too, and we met up with Liz and Baxter and Morgan and Sean and hanging out with them and all.
Yeah, because
that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Because there's a difference maker. Because we see your faces here and we talk about business and life, and you guys joke around a lot, but you're super serious. But when you spend the time outside of these Zoom chats and actually go out of your way and drive maybe 4 hours sometimes to spend time with, I know, 4 hours. Well, she drives an hour and a half every day. I drive like 15 minutes. Okay, so she's used to be on the road, but spending the 4 hours with Liz and Baxter and their little one, it's like these people are real, and you could build a relationship with them. And this is like, you're doing, it's more than a business. You're doing life together, and you're doing life with people that like are progressing. Not saying like the people that we hang out with on a regular basis aren't like there for us, but sometimes like they're not thinking the way that we're thinking. They're not, it's not, from my perspective for the longest time is, okay, look at me, I'm reading a personal development book and they're not. So I'm in a good place. But really, I just had this huge shift of thought today because I was listening to a podcast. I don't know which one, but
we talk a lot.
Yeah, I'm like a fire hose,
Okay.
But to cap it up, it's not that. It's how similar can I be to my mentor, because I want to be where they're at. And when I get to where they're at, they'll be further along. So I can keep plugging in, because they're always plugging in, like Julianne said yesterday, plugging into people above them. And they're going to constantly progress. So if I want to actually be where they're at, I'm going to just lock arms with them because they're willing, because we're part of their team and they love us. And so basically, that was a huge tangent, but this girl is on fire, and I didn't want to be the anchor, when she was crossing the finish line, because she's going to cross the finish line with or without me. So I wanted to be there supporting her and run alongside her the whole way.
Okay, you guys are so cute. Thanks for sharing. What I got was this: real people, real results. We're doing a real thing. We're building a real business. Like, that's really what we're doing, you guys. And it requires you to become a better person. And this is what I also heard them say, is that you have to tap into the community and live events. And you being on this call is doing that. And you have to also understand friendships aren't just like formed. Like, you have to put in effort. So if you feel disconnected from the team, that's on you. I always think if I'm not doing well, I always look at myself. If I feel like I the team is not where I think they can be, I always look at myself first. I always see, I'm never going to point fingers. I'm never going to blame. That will produce bitterness. But you taking the effort, and that's what I heard. Maddie has reached out to me, but I also heard her say, Liz just said she doesn't hold hands. I know Liz, and Liz knows me. She knows I don't hold hands either. And what Maddie said is that she went to the resources page. She went to go check it out, and then she took action and implemented it. Is that what you guys heard too? Because I just heard her give you gold and Matt give you gold on where to go. And that's totally my philosophy is okay, a couple things. One, usually the people around you are not growing like you are. When you're plugged into this, that is a very challenging thing. It is super challenging, and that's where you have to create some boundaries, but not completely cut people off. But you have to understand, you can't get upset at people for thinking differently. It's almost like, I just can't have them influence me, right? I want to be influenced by the people where I want to be. And so that's my thing to all of you is, man, next year, how freaking cool would it be to have more of you go to leadership? How flipping cool. Like, I'm so proud that Kim is coming this year. But you guys deserve a seat at whatever table you want to sit at, but sit with the people that are doing it, like there. And for me, that's Trina. Trina is my mentor. She is my friend. And I look at her, and she is just so knowledgeable. And I plug into her calls. I plug into what she's doing. I ask her questions, but I'm also really resourceful. Her and I would agree that that is the best trait of a coach, is resourcefulness, because no one held our hands in this. No one has held my hand in this. If you know my story, my sponsor who I signed up with is no longer doing this. I just did it. I didn't need all my questions answered from people I was messaging. I just went to Google. Right? And I just figured it out. I failed forward. I was nervous. I was scared. I was nervous to hit enter on my before and afters. Oh my gosh. I didn't know how to work social media. I had 300 friends. I didn't know how to expand my network, but I just figured it out and got better along the way. So that's that. Thanks for sharing. Super cool. Erica, I'm so glad you're here. Erica is a mom of 3. She's incredible. She's a wife to Ben, and she's been coaching for 3 years, almost 3 years in January. And January, February. And it's so cool that her story with what Shakeology has done for her family is amazing. And to just see her go on this journey of transformation, to see that she was like, oh, I don't need the community, to now being like, wow, that's one of the greatest assets to this whole thing we're doing is the community, right? Thinking personal development was cheesy to now, like, you are absorbing. You remember these? Side note, Eric and I have a one-on-one, and we've been having it for almost 3 years, like without fail. Like, it's so awesome. So we're regularly meeting, and I'm just proud of you, and congratulations on being 100% debt-free. And I'm just excited for you to share that with this crew, because you believe in the coaching opportunity, but you also believe in what you guys just did. So I'm going to mute myself, get out of paper and pen. Please ask Erica questions, and then I can facilitate it. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julianne. And thank you guys for being on. Like Julianne said, ask questions. And also, if you guys have extra input or ideas, feel free to share in the comments, because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of wisdom on this as well. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm excited to share about our journey to being debt-free, which will be official on October 26th. I'll share more about that. But I'm excited because financial struggle is hard, and it causes a lot of stress, and it makes coaching harder. When I'm feeling really stressed financially, it's hard to be excited about coaching. It makes mom life harder. It makes being a good wife harder. So I'm just excited to share. Also, like Julianne said, money has kind of been like a hard thing for me to have a good mindset with. I was nervous about making money. I'm nervous about not having enough money. Like, either way, I've had to work on my mindset around money. So I'm hoping me sharing a little bit of what I've learned can help some of you guys, that money doesn't have to be our God, either as, thinking we need more or thinking we have too little. but also learning that we can be good stewards of the money that God has given us, and use it for good. So our story a little bit. I'm just going to share a little bit about the actual numbers. Like, it gets scary to share about actual numbers because it feels like sharing too much information. But I think when I started hearing other people's actual numbers, that's what helped me realize, like, oh, okay, they're in this situation and they did that and I can do this. So at the beginning of the year, we had about $5,000 in car debt, about $7,000 in student loan debt yet, and then $42,000-ish left on our mortgage. And Ben makes about $40-ish thousand a year. And then I just have my coaching income, which lately has been about $800-ish a month. So it's a wonderful blessing, but we are a family of 5. My oldest daughter has food allergies, and we all eat how she eats. And if any of you guys have food allergies or sensitivities, you might know that that can sometimes mean buying a lot more expensive food, a lot higher quality. So about half of our take-home pay, half of my husband's take-home pay, so he has like $2,000 take-home pay each month, and about half of that goes to our grocery bill. So just to give you a little perspective on where we're at, where the majority of our money goes to, but that we are still figuring out how to be more responsible with our money and become debt-free. So another thing is I just had a baby in February, so we had those medical bills. And the big thing that's helped us is our house and thinking differently about what is needed. So we live in a wonderful home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square feet. It's in a nice neighborhood. But when my husband bought it, it was a foreclosure about 10 years ago. He put a ton of work into it, and therefore it's gained a lot of value. And we are selling that. We close on October 26th. And with the proceeds, we are buying a house with cash that is smaller. It will be 2 bedrooms, 2-bath. We have 3 girls and hopefully have more children, God willing. And it's about 900 square feet. So it feels a little crazy with a family of 5, but we are excited to be completely debt-free, including our house, on October 26th. So that's our debt-free journey in a nutshell. I'll get into a little bit more here with some money-saving tips, and then debt-free tips, and then actual like business tips to becoming debt-free, because I think it's different when you have a business and you have to balance needing to invest in your business, but also wanting to be responsible and be debt-free. So just some money-saving tips, and you guys, you can Google this. So like Julianne said, be resourceful, but there's some things that you just don't even think to Google or to think about is possible for you. So just a few of mine, and feel free to share yours in the chat as well, because you guys probably have awesome ideas too. So money saving tips. First, it starts with mindset, and don't think that you need everything just because people say you do. Like Julianne was talking about, going to all these things with Beachbody. Don't think you need to buy new clothes. Don't think you need all the things that everyone else has. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses. I just read Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, thanks to suggestions from so many of you guys on our team. And he always says the Joneses are broke, so you don't have to keep up with them. So that's been helpful for me. So if you guys know me, or if you like saw me at Summit a couple of years ago, I packed in a backpack because I didn't want to pay extra to bring extra bags on my flight. And so like little things like that. Don't think you need to do stuff just because everyone else is doing it. Get creative, think outside the box for whatever your situation is. Another big thing that my husband and I are finally, I think, getting on board with is not using our credit cards. We will eventually cut them up, but for now we are not using them. kept using them because we're responsible. We pay them off every month. So what's wrong with that? I know, Emily, I'm going to cut them. Ben will cut them. So we were paying them off and we're thinking we're getting the points. So this is good. However, when you are using credit cards, you spend more money without even really realizing it. So with that, if you're really trying to work on this debt-free thing, pay cash, because when you are using cash, like the actual dollar bills cash that they do make, but we don't really often have anymore, it hurts more. It helps you realize what you actually have. And yeah, you can't do it for everything. Good luck buying your Shakeology with cash. But there are certain things like going out to eat, buying your groceries, stuff like that you can use cash for, and that will really help you to be more conscientious with what you are spending. And then things for our family is it looks like we paid off a lot of debt all of a sudden real quickly this year, but it's been a journey of over the course of our marriage, over the course of our life, not buying extra, not spending extra. We don't have Netflix, we don't have cable, we don't have fancy phones. We have a pretty cheap Republic wireless for our cell phones. It's like $20 a month. We use cloth diapers when we can. We cook from scratch, partially because we have to, because we have food allergies, but also because it saves us money. So those are some of my money saving tips, but you guys share more. And then debt-free tips, because I think saving money can be different from debt-free tips. So if you guys haven't read Dave Ramsey, you should just go read it. He explains the debt snowball, but when you are trying to be debt-free, really snowball your debt. And here's what I mean by that. You start with your lowest debt that you have, the one that's the smallest amount. So for us, we had a home repair loan that was really small, but it had a 0% interest on it. So we were hesitant to pay it off because we had my student loans that had 6% interest. But pay off the one with the smallest amount, no matter what the interest rate is, because finances is so much behavior. Just like with what we do with fitness, it's so much behavior. It's getting those small wins, like Julianne talks about with finishing a program, whether it's 3 days, 7 days, or 80 days. You want to finish a program. You just want to get those small wins. So once we finally paid off that home repair loan that was really small, but 0% interest, we realized it was super exciting and motivating. And we were like, okay, now it's going down. Student loans are next. And it was really encouraging. And then we were able to take the $150 that went towards our home repair loan and pay that towards our student loans next. So then we were putting a higher amount towards student loans. So then it just keeps snowballing. And then once we pay off student loans, we're able to put more into the next debt. So that's how the debt snowball works, and it's amazing. And you guys should do it even if you don't think it will work, because you're just looking at the numbers and how that works. A lot of finances is also behavior and your mindset. So debt snowball, set a budget. And if you guys figure out maybe a budget accountability group, I'm totally going to be in, because this is the place where Ben and I are still working on this, is setting a budget. But it's so helpful and needed to know where your money's going. Mint.com. All right, I'm going to look. I just looked at Every Dollar app. I've heard a lot about that. But then also in the Total Money Makeover book, there are budget sheets for the variable incomes. So perfect for Beachbody. So debt snowball and take advantage of unexpected blessings. So for us, this year we had a nice tax return, and we put that all at debt. And then we also got rear-ended, which was not a blessing in the moment. But looking back, it was, because we got a nice check to pay for the damages, which were only cosmetic, so we didn't pay for the damages. We just put it towards paying off our car loan. So use blessings like that just come up. Yeah, give a little, have a little fun with it, but then throw a lot of it at your debt until you're debt free. And then you can use it all for fun if that happens again. But you want to get really serious about being debt free because you don't want to be paying other people for stuff that you have. So if that makes sense. Another thing that we did just to like get into the nitty gritty is kind of boring, but we dropped our retirement contributions until we were debt free. I know everyone says pay in as much as you can right away, but if you are still paying someone else, you still have debt, you shouldn't be paying for your retirement yet. If you're getting intense about your debt, Dave Ramsey will say you can pay it off in 1 to 2 years. And then after that, you can be crazy about paying into your retirement. But while you have debt, just focus on the debt. And if you have savings, use that to pay off your debt. So that was another thing that we did. We had money sitting aside and savings. And we're like, oh, but this is nice. But we used it to pay off another chunk of debt. So those are kind of some of the nitty gritty things. More mindset stuff though, tell yourself you can and set a goal for your debt goals, because if you don't tell yourself you can be debt free, it's probably not going to happen. You're going to just backslide when you want to buy that thing or whatever. You need a new car, so you buy one a little more expensive, whatever. So set a goal and get excited about it and get strict, and be sure to celebrate all the little victories. So I set a goal to be debt free by 30. I did not know how that was going to happen, but Julianne had set the goal, so I was going to as well. And now I am 28 and we will be debt free. So that's exciting to be ahead there. So set the goal, even if you don't know how it's going to happen. And then be teachable and be willing to change habits that might hurt to change. When you read Dave Ramsey, or sometimes when you get advice from others, it can hurt. You're like, oh man, but I'm doing that, and he makes me sound so stupid for doing that. But you got to know that the advice is given to help you change so that you can change your whole life in the future. And just like when we were getting advice from mentors, sometimes it might hurt in the moment to get that constructive criticism, but it's to help you, it's to help us. So be teachable, take advice from those who are debt-free, from those who are building wealth or doing what you want to be doing. Read a finance book, read Dave Ramsey, whatever else you can find, listen to podcasts on finances, because guys, I don't know if you guys were taught this in school, but I wasn't really taught finances and how to manage money. So we need to learn, and we have plenty of resources to learn. It's just a matter of actually taking advantage of those and then implementing, like people are saying. So that's my tip for being debt free. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So business tips, because it's definitely needed to invest in our business, to be healthy, to invest in your health, but you also need to be responsible about it. So in all my years of coaching, no matter what financial situation, we have always invested in Shakeology for our family. For the last couple of years, it's been 3 bags a month because investing in our health is cheaper than investing in our health care, which we did a lot of before Shakeology and before coaching. So I'd say be sure to always invest in your own health as a coach. But then just some practical things. Don't buy more products than you're actually using. Like sometimes Ben and I will have a backlog of, you know, the performance line and everything else. And I'm like, oh, we should probably put that, you know, actually use it. or put that HD on hold and just get our Shakeology for a little bit. So make sure you're using what you're getting and set a budget for your business. This was something that I wasn't doing for a while, and then realized that I needed to, because there are so many things that we can get, that we can do in this business, that we can buy to help us grow, but you need to be responsible with it. I realize how much you're spending on Shakeology, on trips, on gas, on sending out prizes, on buying prizes, and maybe it'll help you think of ways you can be more creative. I eventually realized, like, I just need to offer some free gifts, things that are just my knowledge or whatever. So I'm not spending a ton of money on buying prizes, shipping prizes, things like that. So be sure to set a budget for your business as well. But on that note, be okay with taking a little bit of risk in life. And if you know that something's really going to help you move your business forward, then be okay taking a little risk and investing in your business. Some things that I've done, I kind of talked about this earlier, but I have a cheap phone service. It works for me because I am from home. I work from home. I stay at home, and my phone runs mostly off of our Wi-Fi. So I don't have to worry about having bad service that much because I'm not out of the house that much. Use free apps. Win or earn your logo wear. So you guys, this is like, use our business as motivation for you. Like, you really want some cool Beachbody logo wear, then make it your goal to hit Success Club or qualify for other things so that you can just win it or earn it instead of having to buy it. And then Maddie had asked me this earlier, record your business expenses. And I think there are like whole tabs on this in the resources page, if I'm remembering correctly, but there are so many things that we can record as coaches as business expenses so that we don't have to pay as much for income taxes. Your Shakeology, your products. I've heard some people say they can, like, their grocery bill can go towards that. I don't do that because I just don't know how to figure out my family's portion of the grocery bill versus mine. But your cell phone, internet, gas to and from events, you're paying for tickets to events, to Summit, your plane flights, all of that. So be sure to record your expenses for sure, because that will help you a lot with paying taxes down the road. So those are my tips. To conclude, don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses, and don't feel like you have to do it just to prove to others that you're successful in this business. I think a lot of what we do, we want to show people kind of that we're successful in our health, but also that we're successful in our business so that they know we can mentor them. But don't feel you have to do something just to try to prove that. I thought about that as we were looking at houses, because our initial plan was to sell our house and then buy a bigger, more expensive house. Seemed like the logical thing to do, and show like, okay, business is going well. But then we realized that just wouldn't be wise. It would create a lot of stress, and we don't have to live in a bigger house just to keep up with what the norm is out here. So you don't have to keep up with the Joneses, even if you're successful in this business, whatever. Don't feel like you have to do it just because other people do. And being debt-free is a great goal, because being a borrower, you are a slave to the person who is lending you money. It's a verse in the Bible, but it's just, when you owe someone else money, you lose a little bit of control over your life, because they have that control. If something happens, you still have to pay them back. But when you're debt-free, you own what you have, and it's a wonderful feeling. But also, you guys realize that you're going to make mistakes along the way. You might overspend. You might buy something you didn't use. You may manage something the wrong way, but you can learn from it. You can grow from it, and life will go on. So those are my tips. If you guys have input or questions, feel free.
That was so good. I took so many notes. And I just think like, I don't know. I just think it's cool hearing from you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited for you, and thank you for just like sharing your knowledge with us. And I think that would be like one of my biggest tips too, is you don't have to act a certain way for people to join you. Like, you are enough, and like your belief in them is enough. And if they don't join you and they join someone else, it just wasn't meant to be. But like, just know and own who you are. I'm telling you, the more you go in this, the more you need to nail this down, because going to leadership and going to all these things, like it can mess with your head a little bit. And that's a conversation that I've had to have with myself, where I'm finally in a place that I don't feel like I need to do that. But Erica, like, thanks for affirming that, because you, like, did you guys hear what she's doing in her business? Like, that's continuing. That's another thing that's going to continue to snowball with wash, rinse, repeat in this business. And that's going to continue. Her income is going to continue to grow, but she doesn't need to prove that to anyone. And what it's doing for her family is such a blessing. So thank you for sharing that. Are there any questions you can unmute to share or ask, I should say?
I had another thought. So when I set the goal to be debt-free with Ben, I honestly thought that it would only happen due to coaching from growing my income. However, it happened due to coaching because of the support, because of the mindset change. Yes, from the help of my coaching income, but also from the support of our team, from just working on mindset and realizing that you can do what you set your mind to, you can accomplish big goals, and from wonderful suggestions from others when I came to the team and asked, what would you read for wanting to work on finances? So don't think that an increased income is the only way that you can become debt free. So.
Any questions you have for Erica? What spoke to you? You can write it in the comments or unmute. Kelsey asked, how long did this take you?
How long did this take me? Well, I graduated in 2012, so that's when we had our first large amount of debt, which was my student loans, about $20,000. And then my husband's had our house for almost 10 years. So almost 10 years to be completely debt-free of the house, and 6 years since I've graduated and had student loans. And then we tacked on a car loan on top of that because we thought it was what you do. You always have a car loan. So.
I think if there's a plan, from what I'm hearing, for people to start is, one, make a plan, like write down all of the debt that you have, and then whatever's the lowest one, that is what you tackle first. And then from that, so what Erica said, she had paid $150. Then she took that $150 and put it into the next lowest. And then it snowballed into that. And I'm sure it got really exciting, because this has happened to us, where we're like, we have more we can pay off. Like, we can use this extra, like whatever we have, and just put it towards that. And we were more excited about paying that off than paying for anything else, right? And then just making that plan. But more than anything, Erica, the mindset of just knowing you can. So it took Erica those 8 years, 6 years, but you guys, you can start now, and then with whatever time that takes you, without, it doesn't need to be 30. It could be 32. It could be 40, like whatever it is, but just making that goal. So good. Thank you for spending your time sharing that with us. I really appreciate that so much. And it looks like everyone is starting to make a plan and an excitement along with this. I'm going to go ahead and end